Welcome back. So the past few weeks have been really busy for me, so I just wanted to sit down and do a very chill paint with me video. I also just wanted to talk about some of the things that have been inspiring me lately. As many of you know, I've been working on this piece pretty consistently for a while now, and I'm hoping to finish it soon. In one of my previous videos, I talked about artists who inspire me, such as Matisse and Gauguin, and I've been trying to lean into those Fauvist color choices with this painting. Normally, I use color pretty intuitively, but this time I've been trying to be more intentional with my color choices. For example, I used mostly yellows on the forehead, mostly reds in the midsection of the face, and then blues at the bottom of the face. I originally tried to make the hands a bit warmer by adding more reds. I did this because the hands are closer in the painting than the face is. Also, hands generally usually have more warmer colors in them, but I feel like I could have done a better job with this. One hand looks a little too red and the other not red enough, so it feels a bit off. I know it's something I'm going to need to go back in and fix later. I've also been trying to really challenge myself with this piece. For the background, I'm trying to paint smoke, and painting smoke is a lot harder than expected. When I was in school, I really enjoyed painting drapery because it allowed me to just focus on one tiny area and just relax and get lost in the painting. And I thought that painting smoke would be similar to that. It is not. I think I just need more time with it though to understand how to paint it. A huge part of being an artist is being able to really use your observational skills to break down something in a simple way that you can understand it. I think I do have those good observational skills, but I feel like my technical skills have not caught up to my observational skills yet, and that's why I think I'm struggling a bit with this. I think it's really frustrating to be at this stage because I almost feel like I know what needs to be done, but I just can't do it. But I think it's important to acknowledge where you are as an artist and just keep pushing to get a little bit better day by day. And that's what I'm trying to do. Even though it's been difficult, I really have been trying to enjoy the whole process of this because the more fun you make something, the easier it'll be. I'm trying to also give the entire painting the same amount of attention. I don't want any part of the canvas to feel unconsidered. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to say it's not about rendering everything to the same level, but being intentional. Giving every part of the canvas the same level of thought and care. Sometimes that's also something I can struggle with, but I've been very mindful of it the past few years, and I'm constantly trying to remind myself that it's something I need to do. I'm not great at painting hands, so that's also been something I've been trying to work on. When I was younger, I think I just went through this phase where I would avoid painting or drawing anything that was hard. I remember when I was in high school, I would only draw people with one eye because it was so challenging for me to draw both. Or I would draw people with their hands behind their backs because I didn't know how to draw hands. I think I was just scared of being bad at something that everyone was telling me I was so good at. I was afraid to face those fears, and I was afraid that people would realize that I was not as good as they thought I was. I think now I just want to focus on getting better at drawing and painting because there's so much that I feel that I don't know how to do. And I don't really want to be one of those artists that avoid painting things just because they're hard. I would rather try and face my challenges head on. It's also been challenging to leave the painting in a state that I don't think looks good, and you'll see what I mean by the end of this video. I'm trying to get more comfortable with that and let go some of the perfectionism that I've been holding on to. I know I'm gonna come back and refine it, so it's okay for a painting to go through these awkward phases. I do feel insecure about showing it to people, but I'm hoping that the more I expose myself in this way, the more likely I am to let go of everything being perfect all the time. It's okay for art to go through these awkward phases before it's complete. I always think about that meme that's like, everyone else is allowed to do this, except me. I feel that everyone else's painting is allowed to go through these awkward phases, but not mine. I feel like it's so funny because even though I recognize this, I'm still not able to let it go. Outside of painting, I've been reading and watching a lot of movies, and I actually feel that it's been really good for my creativity. I just finished reading Frankenstein, and similar to when I read Dracula, I realized I didn't really know the story of Frankenstein. I knew the basics. I knew that a scientist creates a man, but that was it. The book completely exceeded my expectations, which were already pretty high. I feel like it raised a lot of questions that are really relevant today, especially with AI. We're creating something without fully understanding the long-term implications. Frankenstein didn't really have a plan for the being that he created. He didn't think through what it meant to bring another person into existence. And while people argue that AI isn't sentient or doesn't have feelings, we don't really know where that's going. It makes you kind of wonder how things might evolve in the future. I just thought it was also really interesting that a book that was published in 1818 is still really relevant today. To keep on theme, I also watched the recent movie that came out on Frankenstein, directed by Del Toro, which I really liked. Although I will say I didn't think that Jacob Elordi was ugly enough in the movie. In the book, the monster was described to be so ugly that people couldn't even look at him. And I just felt like they could have done a little bit more with that. And that was the only thing that I felt like was a bit off to me. Everything else was pretty much perfect. I also watched Nosferatu, which honestly really wasn't for me, but I know a lot of people really liked that movie. I thought the cinematography was really well done. There's this one scene where there's a shadow of a hand going across the city, and I really loved that. I thought that was amazing. I also watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I wasn't really a huge fan of either, but after watching that, I could definitely see how Nosferatu took some elements that were inspired by that movie. There was a lot of use of shadows that I thought were really interesting in Bram Stoker's Dracula that I really liked, and I could tell that Nosferatu took some elements of that. Since I have yet to find a Dracula movie that I really like, I'm open for suggestions, because I did really like the book, so I'm interested to see what else is out there. I finally watched Sinners, and I thought it was amazing. I know I'm really late to be talking about all these movies, but I've never really been much of a movie person, so it's been my goal to watch more movies this year. I thought the cinematography was great. The editing and transitions were really cool. I loved the story of it. I just felt like a lot of thought and care went into making that movie, and yeah. Big fan, 10 out of 10. I guess I've been in a bit of a horror mood lately, which is kind of unusual for me. I get scared very easily, but every once in a while I kind of want that feeling, just within reason, in a controlled environment. I think I'm slowly building up my tolerance for horror. I still have so many movies that are on my movie list for this year, but if there's anything that you think that I would really enjoy, please leave a comment down below and I'll add it to my list. But that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to sub, then sub, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.